Reading with your kids.
Hey, come right in, have a seat and relax. Hi, my name is Jedley and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are so excited that you are here today, so excited that you're part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids podcast family. Our guest today is a returning guest, our friend Robbin Miller. She's going to be back to talk about her Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read book, Breaking the Barriers, and tell us what it was like growing up in a time when girls were not allowed to play organized baseball. But before Robbin comes in, I gotta tell you, I got my own little passports. That's right. I wanted to check out the product. I've been talking to you about little passports and that it's a great gift for curious kids of all ages. Now, I'm not a curious kid, but I am a curious old man, so I wanted to know what Little Passports was all about. Now, I've been to the website, littlepassports.com/reading, and I love what I see there, but I'm a tactile guy. I like to touch and to feel and to experience. So the folks at Little Passports, they sent me a World Edition box, and the first thing I saw when I opened up the box was this really, really cool little blue and green suitcase, and it's really cool. I imagine a kid would really love this. This is his or her suitcase, and it's really cool. And inside there's a world map, and there's a passport, and it is just really cool, and I just love it. And I'm so happy that Little Passports is part of our show, because Little Passports, it is the perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every single month with engaging hands-on activities, interactive projects, and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passports monthly subscriptions are designed to spark children's curiosity about geography, world cultures, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It's the perfect gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. Now, order today for holiday delivery. This is really important. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. littlepassports.com/reading. Very, very excited to welcome back one of our favorite guests from the past. She is a Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read author. Her brand new book, Breaking the Barriers, is a Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read. Please welcome back to the show, Robbin Miller. Robbin, how are you?
Oh, good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on. I've been waiting a while, and thank you for taking me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I'm excited about this book because it is near and dear to my heart. It's the subtitle, Breaking the Barriers, a girl's dream to play Little League with the boys. Now, I wasn't a girl looking to play Little League with the boys, but I did grow up in the 60s and early 70s, and the very best player in our neighborhood, on our neighborhood baseball team, was my cousin Darlene, and she was absolutely the best athlete that we had. And a lot of times when we would go to other neighborhoods to play, when they discovered how good she was, the kids and oftentimes adults would say, "Nope, she can't play. She's a girl."
Oh,
yeah, and so it was very, very unfair, and unfair to Darlene, unfair to us, and we didn't understand it. And I'm guessing that's kind of what you felt growing up on Long Island.
well, what happened was when I moved to Long Island when I was 13, they didn't let me play. Mm-hmm. And by then it was Major League and it was 90 feet, 60 feet. And because I was new in the neighborhood, and remember this is the 1970s where girls had to be girls, mm-hmm. I was forcibly persuaded to not play with the boys. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My only regret of that, but it was the 1977 and I happened to move to a new neighborhood. So that whole false idea, false misconception of fitting in, was very influential. Now, I would definitely play with the boys. I could care less what anybody said.
Well, take us back, if you would. Like I said, that's the era I grew up in. I think I have a few years on you, but there are a lot of people who are much younger and they didn't experience that. So tell us about that time, and particularly tell us about you. How did you feel when you were told that you couldn't play with the boys, and why? What was the reasoning behind that? What did the adults tell you was the reason why you couldn't play with the boys?
Because girls play with girls play with dolls, boys play with boys. You're going to get hurt, you may get roughed up, and you're going to be a tomboy, and that's not good.
Mm-hmm. And what
you're not feminine enough.
Yeah, what was your reaction to that? How did you feel about that?
At that time, when I was 9, I said, well, I know I'm feminine, and I want to play. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with whether I'm a girl or a boy. We're all playing. We're all kids. Who cares? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get hurt. I play tough. I play rough. I was tall. I was already 5'5" at the time. And I said, I'm good. I want to do this. I want to show that I can do it. And I persisted. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And show that I can do it.
Yeah. And so you're able to break through those barriers and show that you could play with the guys.
Yes. It wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. I thought it was easy when the law was passed. I even make a note of that the rest should be easy now, but no, it was not easy. It was very challenging and difficult. And being a tween at the time, well, they didn't call it a tween at the time, but a young child growing up, I knew that I had to be tough. I had to have thick skin. And I'm glad that I had my parents' support. My parents were from the Bronx. And growing up in a city environment, you had to show you were tough anyway, because with the school system at that time was very challenging as well. Mm-hmm. But if you held yourself good and you put your head up high, that's all that mattered, that you can do it. Because you're the only one who can do it. Nobody else can do it for you. And I persisted. I didn't let people call me names, put me down, or boo at me, or tell me where I should go. I just continued to just walk by and say, I got to do this. I can do this.
And you say that your parents supported you in this effort.
Yes, they did. They certainly did.
Yeah, yeah. How important was that for you to have their backing?
It was very admirable. It was very. It felt very nurturing to me that I had my parents behind me. Because considering that they didn't always agree with the kind of what we did with our friends, and not all the time, mm-hmm. But it was something they felt that I can do, and that if a boy can play, a girl can play. My mother always felt that way. My mother grew up in the 1950s where girls were girls and boys were boys. And this was the 1970s after women fled, and it was time to shake things up and to rattle some cages, which I did. It was very nice to have their support.
Yeah, and break those barriers. Do you remember? Do you know if your parents experienced any kind of blowback from the other folks in the neighborhood because they were supporting your efforts?
Well, they definitely were witnessing when I was booed by 300 boys at the parade, and they have heard what I did play. I mentioned in the book how one of the games at the end of the season, how there were people in the stands yelling at me, telling me to go home, and as well as boys, and they heard that, and they heard the manager take care of it. Yes, they did witness that, and people said, well, why is she playing with boys? What is she, a tomboy? And that's what girls were called back then if they did things a little differently, like playing football, basketball, boys considered tomboyish. I don't know how, but that's people had very closed-minded thinking back then. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It really has. I imagine, and again, it's hard for me to I know what you're saying is absolutely true because I lived through it, and like I said, my cousin dealt with the same kind of things. I don't remember her being booed at all, and I don't think we would have stood for that either. We're city kids too, so I think we would have had a different reaction maybe. But that's it's hard to believe that those kind of attitudes existed. When you're sharing breaking the barriers with folks, are girls surprised? Are guys surprised?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I tell young girls who are now 9, 10 years old and they're like, that's mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I even told my son that now that he's 9. I told him when I was 7. He goes, that's mean. Why would people do that?
And
it's just that kids today are just more aware of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a great question. Why would they do that? That's mean. It's such a simple question, and sometimes it takes kids to help adults realize that they're being mean and silly and unreasonable.
Absolutely. I think today kids are more open to diversity, obviously. Mm-hmm. And they start at a young age. A lot of, on this side of the town in Massachusetts, schools are very diverse, and people have freedom of expression. And it wouldn't be put up with if that was going on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember when my son played Little League, he played in the minors. There was only one girl in the whole division. And I remember the boys on his team were saying, they got a girl over there. Is that a girl? And I would say to them, in a very nice way, I said, she's a player just like you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? Mm-hmm. But the girl did not receive any boos or jeers or anything like that.
Right, right. Now, you were mentioning that the law changed. Tell us about what that law is and how it kind of changed, because it really did change our society, made a big change in our society.
It did. It was brought in New Jersey. There was a girl called Marie Pepe, who's in her 50s now. She was represented by the National Organization of Women. It was in 1972 in New Jersey. She couldn't play, or she did play. They told her she could not play, and they told her to get off the team. So the National Organization of Women now sued on her behalf, where they ruled in New Jersey that it was against the Equal Rights Clause, Amendment number 14, Equal Rights Clause, which was used to end slavery. Amendment 13 ended slavery. Amendment 14 was the Equal Rights Clause to vote, and so on. And that's what they based it on, about girls can play based on the Amendment 14 Equal Rights Clause. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's how that started. But it took several other court cases before President Ford signed it on December 31st, 1974. Mm-hmm. And he signed it that girls can play. It took a U.S. president to sign the law.
Yeah. Robbin will be back to talk a little bit more about her experience breaking the barriers. But, there are no barriers when it comes to curious kids. Curious kids love to break down barriers. They love to get to the bottom of things. And if you have a curious kid in your life, I have the perfect holiday gift. Little Passports is the perfect holiday gift for curious kids of all ages. Little Passports delivers fun-filled packages right to their door every single month with engaging hands-on activities, interactive projects, and unique souvenirs just waiting to be discovered. Little Passports monthly subscriptions are designed to spark children's curiosity about world culture, geography, or science. From exploring sea creatures in Costa Rica to building a Big Ben just like the one in England or making an ancient Greek headpiece, every month is a different adventure that will fuel their imagination and spark their natural curiosity of the world around them. It is the perfect gift for kids ages 3 to 13 this holiday season. And the holidays, they're right around the corner, so you don't want to delay. You want to order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. Order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. It's interesting how, and I don't know, it's probably the same in many different countries, how sports kind of leads or changes our culture.
It does. It looks at women and men in a different way, and realizing that it's not about sex, per se. yeah, there's differences, obviously, biologically, but if they can play and do it well, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if they ever allowed women to play Major League Baseball, I know a woman called Aliyah Borders played the minor league baseball on the Bovec Sun. She wrote a book recently, and she talked about how when she was in the field, outfield, that there were people harassing her and how the men were inappropriate in the locker rooms. So that whole way of you know, it sets the notion about if women were allowed to play Major League Baseball, they would have to have separate locker rooms.
Mm-hmm. Because
apparently the men in the minor leagues weren't behaving well when she was playing on the team. They were being fresh, nasty.
Yeah.
And the crowd, you gotta worry about the crowd, you know. But on the other hand, what about football, baseball players that are gay?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard the fans being rude.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I know that I've heard stories that there are gay players. I think there was one in the NFL. You know, but that I heard it and I kind of filed it away, but it wasn't important to me. I'm like, if you can play in the NFL, it doesn't matter if he's gay, straight, or you know,
right?
Whatever. It's who cares? You're playing the game. You're
playing the games like you allow gays in the military now. So I don't know. I think it definitely will go to the Supreme Court. Maybe not now because of the presidency right now, but I could see that coming. Mm-hmm. Either they're going to rule that women can play, or women can have the same access to funding and advertisement opportunities to form their own league. Mm-hmm. Again, there's no reason why. We already have a women's basketball league, and they're talking about a women's ice hockey team. Well, why not have a women's baseball team? I'd definitely be supportive of that, too.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been, you know, I know when you were here before, you were talking a lot about making accessible playgrounds and the benefit that is for the entire community, not just for the kids with physical challenges and creating playgrounds for them to be able to go and play and enjoy themselves. Do you think that this passion to advocate for equality, do you think it started back there on Long Island when those folks were booing you and telling you that you couldn't play baseball?
Well, Queens would have, well, actually, the book takes place in Bayside, Queens, which is only one town away from Long Island. Uh-huh. So, I think that, I can't speak for Long Island. I know when I wrote this book, the commissioner of the Bayside Little League contacted me and said that they do have girls that do play, not a lot, but there's no harassment.
Great. Well, that's wonderful to hear that Bayside Queens has grown. And I think, well, let me ask you, do you think that our society and culture has grown and is moving in the right direction? Has it changed enough? What more do you want to have happen?
I think it depends where you are in part of the country. Mm-hmm. I think maybe a little more open on this side of the earth. I mean, of the United States, the East, the Northeast, New England. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about the South, but in the West, Aliyah Borders was from California, and she did play minor league baseball in the Minnesota area. I can't say for the middle states. Again, I would say it has to go by state. Mm-hmm. I couldn't say if all 50 states would, based on the culture, would that be supportive or not. I don't know. I just know that I think depending what part of the country you're from, it could be very open, and on the other hand, it could be very closed.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that you wrote Breaking the Barriers because I think it's a wonderful way for kids to kind of experience that history. A lot of times when kids are just, hearing the facts about history, it can kind of go in one ear and out the other, or they might hear it and be able to repeat it, but they don't quite understand what it was like, and they don't know what it was like to be excluded and wanting to do something really bad and being excluded because you were a girl. And I think that this really kind of opens up kids' eyes, and I think it opens up parents' eyes, and I think it gives families an opportunity to really sit down and have discussions about what is right and about how we can make things more equitable for all people.
I agree. I think it's an ongoing conversation. And I think, the political climate that we have now, you definitely have more of the women speaking out. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you need. Mm-hmm. You need that stimulus to get the response for women and men to speak out against equality. Mm-hmm. And I think it definitely is an ongoing issue.
Yep, we all have to stand up and speak out in support of equality and stand up in support of opportunities and opening doors and breaking down the barriers so that everybody has a chance to be the person they are meant to be, to find happiness in life.
Absolutely, and I hope other kids will understand. I mean, this is an historical nonfiction book that can be used in the classroom for reading. I think kids don't get enough of historical nonfiction. I mean, yes, they read about the famous women and men of the past, and I think that's really important. But they also need to read about women in the sports, women in other fields that they may not get that opportunity to read about.
Absolutely. Robbin, tell us, where can folks find out more about Breaking the Barriers and about everything that you're up to?
It's on www.amazon.com, or they can go to the publisher. I had a publisher called pennantpublications.com. They can order the book from there as well. I announced 2 places, or the Barnes & Noble website, barnesandnoble.com. I have a Facebook page called Playbook Time and Girl's Dream on Facebook. I welcome any feedback. And I'm thinking of writing book 2.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is not, I'm thinking about it. It's not so much about baseball. Baseball would be more like the backdrop. Mm-hmm. It's going to be about a girl reaching and having baseball as the backdrop and the book and the bulwark to fall back upon when the peer pressure starts coming in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, we are looking forward to that book. You can also find out more about Breaking the Barriers on our website, on our Certified Great Reads website, because again, Breaking the Barriers did earn that Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read status. So congratulations about that. Congratulations about the book. And thank you so much for coming in here and sharing with us.
Oh, no problem. And thank you very much, Jed. Nice to speak with you.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We have a wonderful guest coming up for you. Her name is Donna Sager-Cowan. She is the author of With the Courage of a Mouse. I love it. I had a great time talking to Donna. You are going to love her too. Hey, if you are the author of a great children's book, we would love to have you come in here and tell the world all about your great children's book. Being a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast, it's fun, it's easy, it is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the contact button, let us know all about your great children's book. Oh, before we go any further, have you voted for the Reading with Your Kids podcast over at the iHeartRadio Podcast Awards? Well, if you haven't, or even if you have, we would love for you to vote for us again. The Reading with Your Kids podcast has been nominated for the iHeartRadio Best Kids and Family Podcast. Please go to the iHeartRadio podcast page. Click on the Kids and Family category. You can vote for us up to 5 times a day. Every single day, and we would love if you could support us. Thank you so very, very much. Hey, we also we want to thank Robbin Miller for being here, and we absolutely want to thank our friends at littlepassports.com/reading. Little Passports is the perfect holiday gift for that curious kid on your list. With a subscription to Little Passports, kids get a fun-filled package each month designed to inspire their curiosity in geography, world cultures, or science. For kids of all ages, order today for holiday delivery at littlepassports.com/reading. And before we go, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very, very much for taking the time to make the world a better place. And you do that every time you read with your kids. I'll be looking for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.